And when James Cameron went down in that Challenger craft, how he comes back up, he literally dumps steel pellets. So I'm imagining he could go all the way down to the seafloor. When he's done exploring, he just tosses the watch out the window and up he goes. Hey guys, today we're talking about the best and worst of Watches and Wonders 2024. We've picked about a dozen watches that we think are really noteworthy and we're gonna rank them. And stick around till the end because we've added a couple of ringers that were released around the same time, but maybe not part of officially Watches and Wonders that we think are really worth mentioning.
Let's get after it. Up first, Tudor Black Bay 58 GMT.
You know, I'm kind of a sucker for faux patina.
Yep.
I did a poll on the Watch Crunch Instagram, and I simply asked the question, is there too much gilt on this watch? And it was literally split down the middle, 50-50. I love it. I always thought the Black Bay Pro was a little too thick. They must have worked on the movement because now the GMT movement can get down to a sub 13 millimeter watch, which, I mean, if it wears anything like a Black Bay 58, it's going to be gold.
Yeah, it's going to be a winner.
Yeah, so I got to put this in the S tier. All right, so while we're on Tudor, I'm going to ask you to rank the new Black Bay, the 41 millimeter in monochrome.
Yes. Yeah, so the Black Bay 41 millimeter really spoke to me. I'm going to give it, I'll give my rating up first. I'm going to give it a B.
Okay.
I think that 41 is a really good diverse size. I love this watch. I love the 5-link bracelet, the T-Fit clasp. I like the new additions that they did to the crown. It's a little bit more chunky, and also to the bezel. It's feeling like it's kind of stepping in Rolex sort of visual quality to my.
It just looks like an homage to the sub,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Both are very monochrome.
Sort of sticking true to that black and gray sort of vibes.
Yeah.
What do you think of the new GMT?
The Rolex.
Yeah.
Yeah, big brother. It reminds a lot of people of the old 116710.
Okay.
Because of the green GMT hand. It's a little bit subtle. Last year they did this watch in the two-tone.
Yeah.
And now they've done it just in all steel. It's real clean to me. So I'm going to have to put this in, I think, A tier. Let's go to some Cartier watches. You are a big fan of Cartier.
I am, yeah. I really gravitated towards the Tortue. Originally, I think it came out in 1912. And kind of going against the grain of round watches, what I read, you know, they wanted to make a turtle-shaped watch. Then in 1928, they came out with a really complicated movement, which was the minute repeater. This one's really beautiful. I think that they did, it's a little bit larger, but they did really pay homage to the original design language. Okay, this is S tier.
So Grand Seiko did drop a number of watches. I'm going to pick out two I loved and one that I hated.
Okay.
We'll get the one that I hate out of the way first.
Yeah.
It's that giant 44 millimeter red GMT chronograph. It's sort of like somebody said, can we combine all the watches in the watch box into one?
Right.
I don't think it's wearable for humans.
Yeah.
It's I think it's about 17 millimeters thick.
Ooh.
And somebody on Watch Crunch put the dial next to a bowl of SpaghettiO soup, and I can't unsee it anymore.
Oh my God.
But the other two I really love. One is the Evolution 9 Gimby Valley, 40 millimeters, and it's very sporty, and the dial just looks like it pops. The SLGW02 and 03, 38 millimeters, manual wind with a new movement. Gorgeous watch, perfect proportions, I think, and in their white birch style. I still do pine for more 38 millimeter spring drive Grand Seikos. Things like the Omiwatari. So I would put that watch at sort of B tier, and then the Evolution 9 watch I would put at, I think, C tier, because it's beautiful dial, but I still think that they need to work on the bracelet and such to get it perfected. So Zenith did some interesting watches. You liked the Defy Diver.
Yes, yeah, the 1969 sort of reissue, but they did bring it back, and it's a 37 millimeter. I love the orange. I think that it's a very cool representation of what Zenith stands for, which is great watches, interesting design, and they're just themselves. It's not the first dive watch that I'd go for, but I do like it quite a bit. I'd give it a C rating. Let's talk about the Tag Heuer, the glass box.
Few watches make you reach for the wallet.
Right.
This is one of them. The form factor is great. right? 39 millimeters, I think.
Great size.
And but one of my big critiques for the ones from last year is that no bracelet option. And this one has a bracelet, and for all intents and purposes looks great, not too thick. And I mean, how much more classic can you get than a Heuer chronograph bicompax Panda dial?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a mic drop right there. This is A tier for me.
I agree. What do you think of Nomos?
Their Tangente 38, they did in 31 new colors.
Yes.
Probably their most like original like Bauhaus design, like beauty and simplicity, right? The layout. You don't need applied markers. You don't need anything fancy. Everything is just where it's supposed to be. But they decided to have some fun. Yeah. And they did all these kind of pastel-y colors, some with contrasting small second subdials. I love it. I wouldn't know which one to buy, except I was going to beat a dead horse again. Those lugs, Nomos' lugs. So it's probably going to be a C tier.
Okay.
It's just like a treat for the eyes. What do you think about the gold bar that is the Deepsea?
My first thought was like, what in the Invicta homage is going on here? It's just, it's the tool watch that nobody needs. It's the most overbuilt tool watch of the century. I think 13,000 feet is its depth rating.
I think that's about where the Titanic is.
Someone described this as Rolex's hold my beer moment. They're proving a point that just doesn't need to be proven. This is fail. Yeah.
You know, I'm going to rebut that.
Okay.
And bring it up to a D.
At least a D.
At least a D. Okay. Look, gold is quite resistant to corrosion.
Oh, 100%.
And when James Cameron went down in that Challenger craft, how he comes back up, he literally dumps steel pellets. So I'm imagining he could go all the way down to the seafloor. When he's done exploring, he just tosses the watch out the window and up he goes. So the Doxa 200T, right? Not part of Watches and Wonders, but released around the same time. What do you think about that?
I like it. It's a smaller dimension than the 300, right? So you have a 39 millimeter. I think they did way too many colors. I mean, that's just me. Like, I struggle to decide which watch to wear when I'm leaving the house for work. $1,500. It's a very capable watch, and I like the dimensions. The 39 millimeters wears in that, especially in that case shape, very well. You know, I would say that this watch is a B for me. And so last we have the Mido TV dial, which I didn't even know about. You brought this to my attention.
This is, I think, limited to 100 pieces. And this almost is like what that Second guy would do to a watch. Which is like sort of misinterpret it like overly literally. And so they literally did like the TV.
Static.
And I think it's amazing. If watches don't make us laugh enough. And so this kind of lives in the realm of like the studio underdogs, you know, the meme watches. I would give this an A just for
it's fun.
For the creativity.
I love the dial.
Okay, guys, well, that's our list. Let us know in the comments if you agree or disagree. Check out the Zero Pass straps in the shopping carousel below the video, and we'll see you next week.